Well, I think I found the perfect space heater for our cargo trailer camper conversion, and that's the Honeywell. It's model number HCE840B, and the reason why I think this is a perfect space heater for just not our cargo trailer camper conversion, but if you have an RV, a smaller camper or like a teardrop, maybe even a tent, I think this is perfect because this will go clear down to, I think it's 260 watts on its lowest setting and clear up to 1500 watts if you really want to pump out that heat. I'm going to turn on my AC inverter. So turn on the space heater. Now this is on high, and you'll see on the high setting, this will go clear up to 1560 watts. So with this being said, you'd really need to have a power bank that's capable of pushing at least 1600 watts, maybe a little over. So if you have something small, this is probably not going to work for you. But if you have something like the AC 180, in this example, I'm using the AC 200L. And I have this currently hooked up to the wall outlet. That power is coming in and passing that power through it. I'm going to show you here in a little bit, once I turn off that input, running strictly off the battery, how long this will run. Now on this highest setting here, man, I'm telling you, this is pushing out quite a bit of heat. There's actually a really large ceramic technology heating element at the top. You can see it's pretty big. I'd say it's roughly 5 inches by 5 inches. And on the lower part here, I would say it's roughly 2 inches by 2 inches. And right now on the highest setting, heat's coming out of both of these, and it's pushing about, I'd say about 1500 total watts. Now on the low setting, the fan is still the same RPM. I can feel it's not pushing out as much heat though, and that dropped that wattage in half. Now what's cool about this is, say like you're using a lithium iron phosphate power bank, and the name of the game here is try and get at least something to cut that coldness in your camper. And I wanted to find something that could go down to really low wattage, and at least we could initially warm up the camper using this on this highest setting for maybe 10 minutes and then turn it down to its lowest setting to try and retain that heat through the night, especially while we're sleeping, so the battery doesn't go dead. Now if I turn this into quiet mode, I would say it probably cuts the RPM down in half. It's still putting out a decent amount of heat. I would say this would keep the heat constant in the camper, at least if you had a smaller camper, especially like our 6x12 cargo trailer camper conversion. If you had a smaller teardrop, you can see the wattage has gone clear down to 408, roughly 400 watts. And it'll continue to drop on this quiet mode to 380. You can see it's continuing to drop. And I'd say it's probably leveling out here, roughly 380 total watts. Now, I can even go further than that. They have what's called floor mode. If I take this on the floor mode, what happens at least with floor mode is the top fan shuts off and just the lower heating element kicks in. And this is actually pushing out quite a bit of heat. I feel like once the camper is up to temperature, this would keep it constant through the night. And this is the name of the game here. The fact that it can do this at 280 watts, you can see it kind of levels out there. This is pushing out quite a bit of heat. Matter of fact, right now we have the temperature in our house at 67 degrees. And just to kind of give you an idea of how hot this is going to get. So I'd say I got this probably in the middle of this heating element. I'll let this run for a little bit, see how hot this gets. So I'd say this is leveling out about 220 to 225 degrees. And the fact that it's doing this with only 280 watts, So just to give you an idea, this is at 100%. Now, right now I have this just running off the AC200L. I don't have the backup battery, which is a whole nother 248 watt hours. So right now I'm running off just the AC200L with 248 watt hours. If I unplug this, now you can see it's only taking in the amount of wattage it needs to run this on floor mode. If I unplug this, you can see that input shuts off, and this has UPS, or uninterruptible power supply. It kicks over to its own power, and right now, just running off the AC200L only, it's going to run this, and it's kicking out, I would say, enough heat here to keep our 6x12 cargo trailer camper conversion warm through the night for 6.8 hours, so roughly 7 hours this will run this. Now, watch this when I kick in the B230 battery backup, which is a whole nother 248 watt hours. So when this kicks in, you're gonna watch this double. So here's the sink, and here it doubles damn near. So it can run this on floor mode, pushing out quite a bit of heat on this floor heating element. It will run it for over 13 hours. So if you have a smaller camper, I think this is a great option for you. It gives you kind of the best of both worlds. The fact that, you know, if you want to crank this up to 1400 watts, get the heat going right away, if you want to cut down that cold, then you can lower this down to 260 watts and keep that heat consistent through the night. This is why I think this is the perfect space heater for an RV or camper. Now in quiet mode, that levels out at roughly 370 watts. You're actually using the top element here. You can see that the bottom element and fan is not working, and the top is. Now if I switch over to floor mode, so it's going to level out somewhere around 270. Now you can see the top fan is not working and the bottom is. Now another reason why I wanted to get this is the fact that it did have a thermostat built into it. You know, yeah, you could get some of these, you know, smaller space heaters that get down to the roughly 300 watts, but they don't have a built-in thermostat. So if I put this on low, I can set the thermostat on this, which is really nice. You know, these cheaper, more expensive space heaters, you have to buy a separate thermostat. You know, you're roughly about 15 to 20 bucks for those cheaper space heaters, but then you got to buy another, you know, separate plug-in outlet style thermostat, and for not much more you can get something that has a wider range, plus the fact that this has a built-in thermostat. I think it's well worth the money. Now this does have what's called a heat phase timer. You can switch this on. Say like you're getting into your camper and it's cold right away. This will run for 2 total hours. I'll run it at as high a setting, and then it will step down, step down, step down 4 different times to its lowest setting over a period of 2 hours. But all will link in the description box below. And once again, you know, it's got a lot of features here. And it's a name brand here. It's not some knockoff brand. This is Honeywell. And this does have a tip over switch. So if I do tip this over on purpose, you can see this shuts off. So I tip it back up, it'll turn back on. Turn the power back on. And it starts out in high, and that's why I think you can see this, it peaks out at damn near 1800 watts. I think you'd have to have at least something like an AC 180 that can push out at least 1800 watts to use this. But the fact that I can turn this to quiet mode, it'll go from 15 to 1600 watts down to roughly 380, 375, 360. And this is pushing out quite a bit of heat in this upper element. Kind of levels out at 360 here. Or if I really want to drop it down to save that energy, I can go down to floor mode. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I hope this helped you out, especially if you're looking for a space heater for your camper, or especially if you have something like a smaller teardrop or even a tent. I think this will work out perfect. If you learned something, scratch my back and I'll continue to scratch yours with these videos by not only subscribe, like, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next video.